Radio Raheem with the chairman, Bob Arum. Las Vegas is no stranger to you. Huge fight stages are no stranger to you. But Deontay Wilder is a bit of a stranger to you. What has it been like getting this build-up going? Tyson Fury, Wilder rematch. How have you found it?
I found it tremendous. I mean, first of all, we have two major networks publicizing the event, behind the event, and that's helped immeasurably. That's changed everything. And secondly, you're right. I didn't know Wilder before this fight. I must say, he's an outstanding individual, and he, along with Tyson Fury, are the best salesmen we have in boxing.
Many people have called him the hardest hitting heavyweight, not just currently, but in the history of boxing. Do you agree with that statement?
Well, certainly, you remember, there's a different hard hitting. You had guys like Foreman and Shavers who were concussive punches. They would concuss an opponent, get him groggy, and knock him out. Certainly, I've never seen anything in boxing, particularly in the heavyweight division, where a fighter throws a punch and can knock you out with just that one punch, which Wilder has been able to do. So that's something I've never seen before. Whether that makes him the hardest punching heavyweight ever, it depends on what you mean by hardest punching. But he throws that punch, and he finds a way for that punch to connect with your temple that puts you out, and it's almost like a bullet hitting you.
With all that said, I've read that your prediction is that Fury is the one who gets the knockout inside of 12. How do you see that actualizing?
Well, Fury is very intelligent, and he is going to use the Kronk method. And the Kronk method, and it's the best strategy that he has, is you go into Wilder and you battle him and you try to beat him up. And if you can't knock him out, you at least wound him. So when you get into the 11th or 12th round, where Wilder traditionally has been able to take an opponent out with one punch, he's so weakened that punch can't be thrown. And that has to be the strategy. Now, whether Fury will do that, which I believe he will, and whether that will result in a knockout of Wilder, we have to see. But in any event, it will, if successful, weaken Wilder, so Wilder can't throw that one punch and knock Fury out down the stretch.
In the heavyweight division, there is something of a triangle of champions. This will not be resolved until everyone fights everyone, but if this fight goes the way you just described and Fury is victorious, you being his manager, promoter, or his promoter, would you want him to then unify and become undisputed against Anthony Joshua? Is that the best next fight for him?
No, because Anthony Joshua is not an elite fighter. And by the time Fury is ready, just remember there probably will be a third fight with Wilder. But by the time Fury is ready for that fight, I promise you Joshua won't be the heavyweight champion with those three belts, because Joshua is not an elite fighter. Any fighter that gets beat by an average heavyweight like Andy Ruiz and gets knocked out by Ruiz cannot be considered elite. And then to get Andy Ruiz in the second fight, where Andy Ruiz comes in obese and still not be able to do anything but run around the ring and win with your jab, he is not elite. Kubrat Pulev, who will be fighting Joshua and is my fighter, along with Epic Sports, will go over to London, and I guarantee you will knock Joshua out.
Radio Raheem with Bob Arum. One last question I have to ask. If these are not the top three heavyweights, which everyone except you pretty much says, Joshua, Fury, Wilder, where does Joshua plays if he's not elite in the heavyweight division? Where would you rank him?
I don't think he beats Dylan White. I'll tell you the truth. I don't think he beats Dylan White now. I don't think I don't think he's an elite heavyweight. I really don't believe that. I think Al's guy, the big Polish guy, Kowanicki is his name, I think he's better. I think Big Baby Miller is better. I know Kubrat Pulev is better. And I think even Usyk, who's coming up from the cruiserweight ranks, is better.
Do you think it's an ability issue, or is it a mental issue? He's got 3 belts. What is it about him that keeps him from being elite?
Because he can't take a punch, because he doesn't have the ability that these other guys have. The English guy that Frank Warren has, Dubois, is a better fighter than Joshua. Joshua has been built up. He beat an over-the-hill Klitschko. He really demonstrated, and I saw him fight Parker, and goddamn, Parker is an elite. And, he's on the same level as Andy Ruiz. And Joshua couldn't do anything with Parker. Yeah, he won a decision, but what does that say?
Lastly, if Eddie Hearn were to come to you after the Pulev fight and want a Fury matchup, assuming that Fury is successful, would you make the fight?
No, because I say that Tyson Fury, who is the WBC champion at that time, wants to fight Pulev for all the belts. Why would I want to fight Joshua?
In this past year, you know that Eddie Hearn's talked about his invasion into America and taking over boxing in the States. And he's made quite a dent. He's put on a lot of big fights here. Would you say he's successful in that venture?
Well, if you consider spending $100 million on fights to get 100,000 subscribers successful, well, if that's your standard, he's successful. But I think if you're a business person, part of the zone, you would consider Eddie Hearn a disaster in this country. Let's be honest about it. I mean, he's pissed away $100 million for what? For nothing. I mean, they don't have, the zone maybe in this state has 500,000 subscribers. ESPN Plus is reaching for 8 million. So where has he been a success?
Radio Raheem with the chairman of the board, Bob Arum. We can't wait to see you this Saturday night. Wilder Fury 2. Don't miss it. Thank you for the time, as always, Bob. I appreciate it. Radio Raheem with Bob Arum.